tonight's game.
Yeah.
I figured I wanted to talk with you about it because John and Jim are going at it.
Yeah.
And you could see they're also coaches who want to talk about their players and know it's more than just about them. But we in the media just make it about them. You've been in this position before yourself.
For sure.
Is it fun? Is it fun to play in a game where your brother's out there too?
It's different. It feels weird playing your brother because, you have your football family and that's the team that you're on that they ultimately become like family members, and your teammates are in some ways, like unrelated brothers. And
right.
Obviously, they all are going to want to win very, very badly, and both of them and those two families are going to want to win. But there's a little bit added to it when you're going up against a family member. And obviously, I played Travis. Well, somebody said yesterday 5 times. I only remember 4, but obviously the one Super Bowl that did not work out well for me. But every time you're playing, obviously you want to win. In some ways, that much more.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, every time your brother makes a play, you're kind of also happy for him a little bit, but you're also kind of upset. So it's a weird feeling where you got multiple emotions going on. You're trying to figure out how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they'll kind of be going back and forth on that a little bit, maybe a little bit different as coaches, but they've been at the biggest level too against each other.
Well, I mean, I remember interviewing Howie Long too years ago, talking about Kyle and Chris are going to be out there, and
they were literally fighting each other
across the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, this got to be great for you, Howie. And he goes, actually, it's horrible. It's horrible. He goes, because it's a car crash every play. Was a phrase that he used.
Yep.
And obviously, you and Travis weren't out on the same time. But how did your folks feel about that?
I mean,
when you guys were playing.
Mom famously said she's rooting for offense. So we had the benefit of, she could just root for both of us to have good games.
Right.
She didn't really care about the outcome. I think that, my dad, same thing. They just wanted both of us to play really well. And, whichever team came out on top, they were going to be happy either way.
Right.
But, yeah, I think for me, you watch Trav make a huge play, or, you'd watch he'd make some. I remember we played in Kansas City, and he ended up making this ridiculous play on a shovel pass, jumping into the end zone from the 5-yard line. And I'm like, dude, why'd you have to do that today? You can do that, what I mean? Right. Do that then tomorrow. But he had some extra juice. Being the younger brother too, I think there's always that dynamic of younger and older, and I'd be curious to talk to Chris and Kyle how that felt actually going up against each other.
Right.
But I think Trav always, being younger, wanted to, beat me in a lot of sports. And growing up, he didn't get that opportunity a lot because I was bigger than him. But he always got me in basketball. That was the one thing he couldn't get me in.
He could actually do that.
The moment he got taller than me, he could crush me in basketball.
Yeah, I don't know what the Harbaugh basketball game is like, but I just know that, again, being a Michigan guy, the undercurrent every single season when Harbaugh was at Michigan is that because he lost in that Super Bowl to John.
Yeah.
That he's going to want, there's always that desire to go back to the NFL.
For sure.
And here we are.
Yeah,
right?
He's back, and the Chargers are playing fantastic.
They are.
I mean, he has turned that around very quickly with a very similar roster to last year. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think the Ravens will pull it off, but it's, both teams, smash mouth, run, and gun teams. You have one of the best quarterbacks over the last 5 or 6 years in Lamar Jackson. Herbert, who's kind of looking to reinvent himself with this new system, played fantastic last week, and it feels like they're really starting to peak. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one tonight.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.